names, a lot of you I recognize. So thank you again for coming back to training. Really appreciate the time this evening. Just so that you guys know, quick overview of what we're doing. So Mike has decided this year, I think our best bet is we're going to do 3 different trainings that go over the Unit Leader portal and the app. So all the technology, that way you all are totally comfortable going into the sale using the technology. So you can attend whichever one of those trainings you'd like to, hopefully all of them. And then before the sale, we'll still have a large council kickoff that your district kernels will be leading. And that's where we'll get into all the details as far as the products and the pricing and where you pick up your product and how you order, all of that. So these trainings really just focused on the actual technology. So tonight, as you can see, we're doing a storefront training. On June 15th, we'll be focusing on wagon sales. And then on July 13th, we'll be focusing on our online direct, as well as any other technical questions that you all have. So tonight, we're very lucky. We have Becky Alt with us. Becky has probably sold more popcorn than any kernel in the entire country, and so kind of caught Trails End's eyes a couple years ago, and we said, hey, we want her to come help us. So she still helps out her own unit, but also assists Trails End with really supporting the units overall with a huge focus on storefronts. So tonight she's going to do a live demo of how the storefronts work from both the unit leader side as well as the scout side. And if you have any questions at all, she is the expert on loading storefronts, so she will be able to answer anything you have. So I will turn it over to Becky.
Hi guys, like Rick said, my name's Becky. I am a unit leader from Southern California, and I've been helping with the popcorn sale for over a decade now. So I started when my oldest was a tiger, and now my youngest is a tiger. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys in just a second. You guys should be seeing our Trails End Unit Leader portal. So this is going to be the screen that you are going to be greeted with as soon as you sign in to the Trails End Unit Leader portal. And we will kind of go, I'll tell you a little bit of information really quick, starting off the bat. Anytime you're going to access any of the Trails End sites, you always want to be sure that you're using one of the 3 supported browsers. Google Chrome is probably the most popular. It's what I use. And then there's also Firefox and Safari. So first things first, be sure you're using one of those browsers, because if you're not, you might come in here and see some things looking a little bit funky. There might be some buttons and stuff like that missing. So just be sure that you're using one of those browsers. And then if you look here, you see we've got our blue navigation menu on the left. And because we're going to be working on storefronts, I'm going to go ahead and open the storefront management tab. Now, I want to point out that there's also a storefront reservations tab. This tab does not apply to your council, so just don't even pay attention to it. Where we're going to be working is going to be in the storefront management tab. This is where you're going to go. You're going to add all of your storefronts into the system. And you're going to add these in after you have after you've made reservations with a local store, whatever location it is that you're going to be setting up. This is the screen that you're going to go to when you're going to add your storefronts into the system so that your scouts are able to sign up for it. Before you add any of your storefronts in the system, it's always a good idea at the beginning of the sale to do a little bit of housekeeping. And you'll do your housekeeping in the unit info tab. This is where you're going to come and you are going to tell the system how you would like your storefronts, how you would like your splits to be calculated, how many scouts you want there, how long you want their shifts, all of that fun stuff. So you want to come in here in the beginning of the year and you want to set all of your settings to what makes sense for your unit. The first thing that you're going to set is the calculation method. This is going to be your split method, where the app is automatically going to divvy out all of the credit for your storefront sales. So we have 4 different options for you to pick from. The first one is going to be individual. That's usually when you have one scout working on their own, and every sale that they ring up, they're going to get 100% credit for. Now, the next one is going to be split by shift. This is if you have more than one scout that is going to be working that shift and you want the sales to be split evenly. And if you, when you're in here and you're setting it up and you're not quite sure, what does this split mean? If you just hover over this information bubble like I am, it'll explain it to you, and then it'll also give you an example. So the second one is going to split for all of the scouts that work on that shift. Now, the next option is going to allow you to split the sales for the entire day. Some units like to do this because they recognize that maybe the morning shifts aren't going to bring in as much as the afternoon shifts, but they want all of the scouts that are there that day to earn the same amount. So then they average it over the day. And then the last option, this is for units that like to average their sales out over the year, and they give credit for hours worked. So keep in mind, this is an option. I've heard a lot of people actually ask for this option. It was added last year. So keep in mind that this will actually calculate on the hourly rate. So you just have to let your scouts know as they're ringing sales up. It's a little different than the other split methods, because the other split methods, the scouts are able to see right away what they earned, but this is averaging over the entire sale. So you're not going to be able to know right now what you're going to sell tomorrow and next week and all of that stuff. So that's something that is figured at the end of the sale. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to select your time zone. So come in here, be sure that you've got the appropriate time zone set up so that you don't have your scouts trying to work on Pacific time or anything funky like that. The next thing you're going to tell the system is how long you would like your shifts to be. I think the pretty standard that we see most units do a couple of hours. But sometimes you've got troops that have older kids and they say, nah, I can do more than that. I want to hang out there for half of the day and just knock it out. So whatever makes sense for you and for your unit, this is what you're going to set. Just keep in mind that when you set this, it's going to apply to all of your storefronts. So if you go in here and you switch the way that you have the split, it's going to be retroactive and it'll change all of the credits going back. So it's not something that you can necessarily go in and switch for every individual storefront, but it's going to be pre-programmed for the whole shebang. You also want to tell the system how many scouts you like to have that you want to be able to sign up for the shift. So I usually have one. That's what this is set at. Sometimes people will have two. If you wanted to have two or more, you can go in here and you can add. The only thing I would say about that is just to be sure that you're checking with all of your locations. I book a lot of storefronts, and I know a lot of them are telling people, especially this year, that they would rather not have a huge crowd of scouts. They'd rather maybe have one or two or not more than four. So just be sure that you're checking with the stores because we want them to feel good about having our scouts there. We want them to welcome us back next year. So just be sure that you're paying special attention to that. And the last thing that's on this page is the default release date. Now, this is going to be the date that your scouts are able to start signing up for the show and sells that you have listed in the system. So if you were going to go and you were, let's say that you got all of your storefronts and you wanted to go put them all in the system right now to get it out of the way, but you didn't want your scouts to be able to start registering for that until you have your kickoff, then you could come in here and you could put the date of your kickoff. And then on that day, your scouts are going to be able to sign up for your show and sells. So again, this is what day works best for you. I've got an earlier date in there just so that in my demonstrations, I'm able to properly show everybody. So now that we've taken care of setting everything up, I'm going to go ahead and jump back over to this storefront management menu. We are going to scroll over to this blue button that says add storefront. And it is very simple. All you're going to do is you're going to start filling in these fields. Now, I've done this a couple of times, so I'm going to start pre-filling it. As you can see, when you start typing a number, so when you start typing a number, the Google Maps, I don't know why it's not pulling up right now, but typically it's going to pull up, like if you start saying 123 Main, it's going to pull up the Google addresses and it's going to, oh, there we go. So then you're going to select the appropriate address and it'll already go in there and pre-fill all of your information. So if you had a contact, like this is going to be the store manager that gave you the permission to sell there. You want to make sure that your address is entered in there correctly so that when your scouts sign up, they have the appropriate information. Now, if you had an email address for your contact at the store, you would add that here. Not a lot of people use that, but I would definitely suggest adding the phone number and then the site instructions. This is another important step too. Sometimes you'll have a manager that will say, oh, I'm okay if you set up at the floral door, but please don't set up at both doors. Or I would like you to have a specific number of scouts. Or I would like, when you start for the day, I would like you to come in and check in with the manager. This is where you can add notes for your unit so that the first person that's going in the morning and every person after them knows what is expected of them. So whoever is going to set up your table knows, oh, hey, all right, we got to set up at this table or at this door. Make sure that we're not down at that door, or make sure that we're not blocking the entrance. So, like all kinds of different things, but it's useful to add that information in for your units to see. So now we're going to go ahead, we're going to save it and close. There we go. It was taking a second. And now when you scroll down in your storefront management tab, you're going to see that storefront was just added. You see, I got impatient. I hit the add button 4 times. So it added my storefront 4 times. If I do that, all you got to do is click on this red trash can and say, oop, I got a little click happy. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. All right, so now we have our one storefront that is hanging out here in our management menu. Not only do you see it down here in your list, you can also see that on your calendar that you've got something set up there. You can very easily see there's 0 sales. We don't have any inventory. Nothing's going on with this storefront because this storefront hasn't happened yet. If we wanted to start preparing for this storefront, we would just click on the arrow and it's going to open up another menu of options. So if you were to get updates on your site after you went in and you added it, you can come here and you can update your site instructions or any information that you need to. You will build out your shift schedule under shift management. So remember when I went in the unit info tab, I told it that I wanted 1 scout to be able to sign up for 2-hour shifts. So when I hit the add shift, it's going to automatically generate a begin time of 8 a.m. and an end time of 10 a.m. That's 2 hours in between because that's based on my defaults. So I'm going to hit continue and you could see that first shift is going to show up. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add several shifts because we're going to be here all day long. And it's just as simple as hitting the add shift until your schedule is built out to the end of your reservation. My reservation is until 6, so I'm going to go ahead and add 1 last shift. So now that I've added these shifts, you can see it says there's 1 scout that can sign up. There's a total of 0 shifts that have been taken at this point. From here, I'm able to, I can register a scout myself. If a scout needed me to, you would just select a scout from here and you would add them. But in a second, I will show you how scouts are able to go in and register themselves for a shift. The next thing I'll point out to you is the Manage Cache tab. This is where you're going to go and you will be able to record and you'll be able to start with caching your cash box. So I usually start mine with $50, but whatever amount you put in your cash box to send to the store, that's what you're going to put in. You're going to hit submit. Now you can see it's showing that there's $50 that's due from the site. As your scouts are there and they're working their shifts, that number is going to change. It's going to correspond with whatever it is that they're recording in the app. And, before I move on, this is also, so at the end of the day, you'll come in here and you will accept the cash back. And then if you're trying to reconcile, if maybe a couple weeks down the line, somebody has a question or you need to look everything up, you're able to come in here, you're able to see every single transaction that took place on that. The inventory tab is where you're going to check out inventory to your storefront. So your inventory tab is already going to be preloaded with the inventory from your popcorn order. So it already knows how much popcorn that your unit has. So you're just going to come in here and you're going to tell the system how much you're sending of each product. I'm just going to do a case of each. A case is 12. So you're going to come over here and you're transferring it from the unit. That adjusts the transfer, and now you can see up here, you can tell that the site now has inventory. So when your scouts show up, their app is already going to preload it. It'll say that you have 12 on hand, you've sold, and that you've sold 12. And again, as they sell, those numbers will move together to give you real-time reporting on everything that's going on with your storefront. Viewing orders is exactly what it sounds like. When you click on the View Orders tab, it's going to pull up all orders that have been recorded for this storefront. So that I could show you what it looks like, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to record an order. Now, I'm not sure if you saw what I did, but I clicked on that shopping cart. Anytime you see the shopping cart, either in the app or in the Trails in Unit Leader portal, it's going to give you the ability to record a sale from the menu that you are on. So hitting that shopping cart here is going to give me the ability to record a sale for this storefront. So you would simply come in here. Most people don't take the time to record the customer information, but you do want to select the shift, and then you would want to select the scout to be sure that your scout is getting the right credit. I like the white cheddar, so that's what I'm going to record. I'm going to go ahead and tab it. You see I hit record a sale. And now that sale shows up in my orders. So from here, I'm able to refund this sale. You could refund cash sales within 24 hours, or you can expand and you can come in here. You can look at the details. If this order was rung up underneath the wrong shift, you can hit the change shift button and you can move it to the right shift. Or maybe you have a scout that accidentally rang up that order in the storefront and it's supposed to be a wagon. You could just hit convert to wagon order and it'll move everything for you. It'll take it out of your storefronts and it'll put it in a wagon order for that scout. We also have reporting available. So this sales report is going to give you a detailed report of all of the sales that take place at a specific location. This is good for reconciliation after the fact. The site shift report, this is good. This is probably better for planning. I usually like to print out a copy of this and put it in my cash box because this is a list of the schedule for the entire day. It'll have the scouts' names and their parents' phone numbers because a lot of times, sometimes people run late and the person before them, they might be kind of sitting there panicking like, oh, we've got soccer after this. We really got to go. It makes it a lot easier for everybody involved when everybody has that information right in their hands. Just all the time. Like I said, I like to print it out and I like to keep it in my cash box. One other thing that I would like to point out to you, if you have, say you use Becky's store, you've got that store for lots and lots of days, and say you've got the same amount of time all of those days, this button right here, this is called the copy. It's the site copy button. It will absolutely copy everything for you so that you can add multiple dates that way. So you're not having to go in and add Becky store, Becky store, Becky store each time that you're going to be adding a storefront. So that, my friends, in a nutshell, is how you add storefronts, how you manage storefronts. So that is all that, oh, hold on. I almost forgot. Now I'm going to show you guys. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take myself off of camera. I'm going to pull up my app for you. Let me see if I'm able to. I got to make myself host on this. So give me just 1 second. Or, Mike, I think I need you to make me the host. I don't have the ability.
And everyone, while they're switching that over, just so that you guys totally understand. So everything that she went through is what the unit leader does on their side, and that's through the unit leader portal. Now she's going to show you what the scout does on their side, because the scout is the one that's actually using the app. And then all of that information will flow up into the portal that she just showed you. I know we've got a couple new kernels on here tonight. Mike, anything else you'd like to cover this evening?
I was typing something to Becky. So, Becky, I need you to make me the host again. And Rick, did you touch on the app functions for the Facebook community and the downloadable user guides?
Yep, so when you guys log in there, there's a tab on that blue side that says resources. And in there, that's where you can download the app user guide. There's a bunch of one-pagers on how to sell, just a ton of information that you can share with your scouts. But then I will also send Mike the total unit kernel guidebook for this year, so he can share that with you. And it's literally 20 pages of everything you could possibly want to know about the sale. So you can have that as well. And then there's a button directly on there that just says, I think Becky says join Facebook. So really encourage you all to join the Trails In Facebook group. I think there's over 20,000 unit leaders on there now. And so if you ever have a question at 2 in the morning and you put something on there, you're going to have 10 responses in 10 minutes. So really encourage you, especially if you're a new unit leader, jump on the Facebook page. There's a bunch of resources even within that Facebook group, how to run a kickoff, how to get more scouts to sell, all of that kind of good stuff. So really good. There again, it's on the left tab of your portal that says resources. It has all that training information in it.
Rick, I will say too that I was on there last year during the sale. We had a glitch in a shipment. So for all the kernels out there, if you've never been on this Facebook page before, you can let them know that you had a customer ordered coffee and got sent popcorn, like my cousin did. I put it on there. They told me the contacts. It was resolved in 45 minutes, and they shipped out a new product to the customer. So Trails In does monitor that Facebook page also, and it gives you a quick response at any time of day.
Yep. So either throw something on Facebook and it'll be super fast, or support@trails-in.com. That's a whole support team that works 24 hours during the sale. And kind of our goal is an hour response time on that. During the heat, it might get a little backed up, but feel free to always email support@trails-in.com. Work with something on Facebook. It'll go fast, I promise. So for any of you, you guys are welcome now. You've probably already gotten emails as far as registering for the sale, but now is the time to go in and register your unit. So all you need to do is go to trails-in.com. That's our main landing page. You can just click leaders on the top, or are you a leader here? So when you click leaders, it's going to take you to register your unit. So as soon as you go in and register your unit, that's basically saying, hey, I'm on board to sell this year. And then you have access to log into that portal that Becky was showing. If you've had a unit in the past, all of your username and the passwords are the exact same, so you don't have to redo it. But we'll still want you to register just so that we know that you're still on board for this year. And then online selling, it is live right now. So a lot of scouts are going out right now, either going door to door and selling online direct, or they're already, sharing their page with their friends and family, maybe sharing it on Facebook. And so they're already racking in sales right now. We've got a lot of promotions going on this spring and in the summer that maybe there's double points or triple points for online. So be out on the lookout for those. So even before you guys ever get your product in September, your scouts are welcome to go ahead and start selling and get a head start in case they need some money right now.